Hey yo, I probably don't need to tell you how great WWE Smackdown Vs RAW 2008 was, but welcome to Game Round, where we discuss everything and anything regarding past WWE games. So in this episode, that's right, we are gonna be talking about what made WWE Smackdown Vs RAW 2008 so great. From the roster, its unique gameplay, things that we haven't seen before, brand new innovations, game modes that we've forgotten about, game modes that we've been wanting to return, underrated features, and more awesome things in between. So sit back, relax, drop an elbow on this video, and let's get into it. And I think it's only right for us to start off with the roster because SmackDown vs RAW 2008 came out in a big transition period for the WWE, where a lot of top stars were leaving the company to explore other venues like TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and so on. But it was the game that we finally got the inclusion of ECW as the third brand in the WWE. The whole promotion for the game, it was SmackDown vs RAW featuring ECW, which honestly, it did put an extra touch to the roster that a lot of us were excited for. So with ECW making their first appearance in the series as a brand, there was a heavy focus on it, with us getting extra superstars like Ashley, CM Punk, Kelly, the Crime Time Players, MVP, and more superstars making their WWE video game debuts. And those are not even the highlights because those superstars ended up being in other WWE games. But unique to this roster were legends like Sabu and Sandman, again representing ECW, and then other superstars made their only appearance in the franchise like Kenny Dykstra and Marcus Corbin. Kinda crazy to say that Sabu and Sandman only made it to one WWE video game, but not everything is perfect. Like I said, some top stars were heading out of the WWE, so they had to be taken out of the series like Kurt Angle, RBD, and then of course for obvious reasons, SmackDown vs RAW 2007 was the last game to feature Chris Benoit. And because some other licensing issues, we didn't get Jillian Hall or even the Boogeyman, who were still contracted with the WWE and were in previous game but didn't make it to this one. But that is just a slight negative on all the roster because like I said, it was still a stocked up roster. We still have the main superstar that we got to see on a weekly basis on television, from John Cena, Triple H, The Undertaker, Mr. Kennedy, Shawn Michaels, King Booker, Batista, Bobby Lashley, Tommy Dreamer, the Great Khali, and so on. But the major selling point is Jeff Hardy made a comeback in this video game. Back then, how could you not buy this game knowing that Jeff Hardy was finally going to be in it after missing so many years in a WWE wrestling game? Gameplay wise, what truly made SmackDown vs RAW 2008 stand out was the 8 different fighting styles that we were able to choose from depending on which superstar in the roster we were playing as. We had a primary and a secondary, and some of these were honestly broken because it made you win a match fairly easy. These styles range from being a powerhouse to a technical wrestler, a high flyer, a brawler, a dirty player, a showman, hardcore player, or a submission specialist. Submission in itself also got a brand new system to it, so there were a lot of changes in the gameplay department that made it feel like previous games weren't as unique as this one. Whatever you do though, don't get caught into a roll-up pinfall because it's gonna be over for you fairly quickly. Trust me, I kinda cheesed it and beat up a couple of friends right away by catching them off guard with it. As I said, some of these fighting styles, they really made a difference, and most importantly kept every single match unique, because with these primary and secondary abilities, there were a lot of different styles and unique ways to use them within a match, and knowing the moveset and everything that the superstar that you pick does really felt like a bit more of an advantage so that you could get the combinations and everything set up. As different as it made the gameplay of it, this was the last time that we saw any sets of fighting styles until 2K18, when it finally returned in a more slightly updated way. And just to put into perspective how some of these were so good, for example, if you were a high flyer, you could perform a springboard diving attack to an opponent inside or outside of the ring, which doesn't sound so bad until you actually realize that instead of countering or doing a sidestepping attack, they can actually get away from all of that by rolling left, right, back, or whatever. So it was basically having some extra reversals in your arsenal, and there was no reversal limit, but with high flyers being so fast, spamming this got really annoying. And like I said, don't get caught into a roll-up pinfall because you ain't getting out of it. You know what else made SvR08 so amazing? It was the fact that it literally had 99% of the match types that we saw on television and that we've been seeing in the WWE throughout the years. So it made it feel like on that department, the exhibition was as updated as ever. Which unfortunately, we cannot say the same for any of the games that have come out over the last 5 years. Which is a real shame. You want some of the special stipulations? Hop into this game and you're probably just gonna find it. From Bury Alive matches to First Blood, normal submission, ultimate submission, parking lot bro, in a backstage area where you literally feels like everything is interactive. You want to put someone inside a garbage truck or just have them eat some garbage? You could definitely do that here. It's common, you're gonna survive too, so don't worry about it. You want to put someone head first through the limousine window? You're definitely able to, go right ahead. You want to be a fireman? You could definitely do that. Or just throw some toxic waste into your opponent's face. Easy, just do it. Then after that, I mean, if you want to, you know, get some sparkles and fires in there, you definitely can. It was so interactive that it felt like you could do anything, no matter where you were. So yes, the match type department missed 1 or 2 matches that will come a bit later in the series, but it pretty much had everything that we were looking for. And if I recall correctly, this was the last game to feature the Bury Alive match, which kind of sucks to say. Now, not all mechanics were perfect. If you wanted a real challenge, trust me, just go ahead and try to be a Royal Rumble match on honestly any of the older game, but especially this one. It got a little bit annoying. If you get caught into an Irish whip, an opponent sends you towards the rope and he tries to eliminate you, you might survive, but if there is a third opponent in that match, which usually there is, that opponent is just gonna go ahead and assist the other opponent to try to get you eliminated, and there's no way you're escaping from that. So winning a Royal Rumble match was like the ultimate headache for me, and I just remember being pissed off at it, trying to do the whole thing. But hey, at least the Royal Rumble more or less feature the superstars entrances, which for the love WWE games, please bring that back. It's not even that hard to do. All you gotta do is change the camera and have the superstar running into the ring. I just want the presentation to see it. Now you guys might be wondering, well, why would you even try to beat a Royal Rumble match like that if you know it's so difficult? Well, you see, there was this game mode in the game where you were able to reach Hall of Fame status, and in one of those, in order for you to continue it, you literally had to come in at number 1 as Shawn Michaels and just win the whole thing. So there was no way out of it. I had to do it. We'll talk about that in a bit though. One big credit that I give to WWE games over the last couple of years, it's in regards to all of the improvement that they made when it comes to the creation mode. For Smackdown vs RAW 2008 and basically games prior to that, creation was improving slightly every single year, featuring the regular creative superstar, creative entrance, creative championship, creative moveset. OA kinda did it a bit nicer when it comes to creative stable, because there was a unique dynamic of it that these tables, you were actually able to just put up their teamwork attribute by actually playing with them as a tag team. So in the end, you could kind of build up a really good tag team that becomes your favorite tag team, and that you learn and that you continue to gain experience for, so that you could max out their attributes. So that was sort of like a nice enhancement to everything when it comes to this game. It also set the foundation to what was to come, Smackdown vs RAW 2009, which had the massive focus on tag team wrestling. So OA really led into all of that we got to see on 09. That was new and made that game unique. But we haven't even gotten to the best part of Smackdown vs RAW 2008, and that of course have to be the game modes that it had. Each of the game modes that we had different goals and different options, making it such a unique experience that I still remember me playing them. So the season and general manager mode of previous game have been merged into the new WWE 24/7 mode. So of course, just like before, you were able to create your own superstar and play through it with them, or you could compete with other brands as a general manager. And you guys already know, as Vince McMahon will say, this was the good stuff right here. We're gonna keep it PG. So this was said, things got even more interesting because, as I mentioned, ECW was featured in the game as a full brand. So when doing our favorite GN mode, you could be Teddy Long for SmackDown, Jonathan Coachman for Monday Night Raw, and then the legend himself, Tommy Dreamer, for ECW. I don't think I need to explain to you guys how GN mode works because chances are you already know all about it. You want to know why I think that? Because that is all we ask every single year. We want it to return so bad. But hey, we're here. Let's talk about it. Here's the rules and the tips. It literally made you feel like you were a general manager, and OA had the best experience doing all of that. The first draft selection will be chosen at random. Draft picks will alternate between the three brands. Raw has the Women's Championship. SmackDown has the Cruiserweight Championship. The Cruiserweights are in blue. Divas are in red. And then you go from there. Build yourself a roster size that is from 12 to 20 superstars. And that is just to get you started. The thing that made the draft so special was the fact that you had currency. So you had to be very strategic, which I don't even know if I can say that word, but you know what I mean. You had to keep in mind that any superstar you were signing was worth it, and for how long were you going to be giving them that contract? Was it going to be just for a couple of weeks, for 6 months, for a year, or even for longer than that if you decide to extend that contract afterwards? Of course, the longer the contract is, the more money you're spending, so you really had to be careful. There were a lot of things that you needed to calculate, and I am not kidding when I tell you that at some point I remember young me having a sheet of paper and just kind of writing things down, just calculating who should I get for how long and all of that. And then once you build this roster, that is really when the whole universe just kind of start off. You got injury reports, you can make up your own rivalries. Of course, some of these writings you have to buy. Some of these storylines, you literally just had to go in there, spend money for it, so that you can see it played out. And if the audience end up liking it, then the more popularity you get, the more money you end up getting. And all in between, you are competing with Raw and SmackDown. So just imagine doing this with your body. How amazing it was. It was almost endless because you could literally just pick a different roster, make a different roster, trade people, and make every single week a unique type of experience. Now, GN mode wasn't all perfect. Of course, some of the things that you ended up doing throughout the weeks when there was no wrestling show, of course, in the video game calendars, some of those were a bit useless and they weren't as fun to do, but it really was just part of the process. And what made this GN mode, this universe that you created, so immersive. You always wanted to be checking what was happening, what to do next to make sure to be on top. Overall, this is the reason why so many of us want GN mode to return, because it had that competitive aspect to it. If they bring back the draft, the currency, the popularity, contract trades, buying storylines, and all of that, and put it within universe mode that we've been getting over the last couple of years, it will make it for the best experience. Just leave out the rest of the useless stuff that you don't really need to be doing throughout the weekly calendar. It's crazy to think that OA was also the last time that we got GN mode, but we're not even done there just yet, because this SmackDown vs RAW gave us the all new addition of tournament mode, which let you the ability to compete through things that we haven't seen in quite a while. Sure, we got the regular King of the Ring tournament, but it also had the Beat the Clock Sprint tournament. And this is gonna be a bit crazy for you guys to hear, but guess what? It actually has 16 competitors in it. Over the last couple of years, it makes no sense up to why we can only make tournaments with 8 superstars in it, when back then, literally 12 years ago, 13 years ago, we can set it up to 16. At times, it feels like we're really going backwards. It's kind of weird. And last but not least, I honestly left one of my personal favorites. It was so simple, but it doesn't get as much love nowadays. I just don't see people mentioning it, even though it was such a grind to do, and it was just different. What I'm talking about is the road to the WWE Hall of Fame mode. You go from being the rank of a jobber, literally that is the rank that they give you, and you make your way through all the way up to 2008 to become a Hall of Famer. The way that you acquire this is by actually completing competing in some of the most classic matches that we got to see from 1995 all the way up to that year, starting off with Shawn Michaels. You want to know how you got out of the jobber rank? Or at least you got your name out there? Yeah, the first challenge that you got was using any superstar in Exhibition 30-man Royal Rumble mode, arrive first in the ring, and then win on Legend difficulty. You remember how I mentioned that the Royal Rumble was absolutely hell to win in this game? You could put it on easy and the chances of you getting eliminated are extremely hard. Now try doing it on Legend difficulty. I should probably try it now that I'm a bit older and see how many controllers I break. I think I have a bit more patience than when I was way younger, but I also have a job so I can break a lot more controllers and just buy new ones. I'm just saying, this was really a road to the Hall of Fame. If you wanted to make it, many of these challenges were really a work, and it will really take long. You wanted to be like King Booker? Great, just win the King of the Ring tournament on Legend difficulty. Or do you really want to feel what it is to work your way up? Create a WWE Championship title just like John Cena did back in the day and raise its prestige to the highest possible value. I'm hoping that you get the gist. There were a lot of grinding to do in many of these, and if you ever completed them, honestly, you are truly a savage. I remember getting to Hall of Fame rank. Unfortunately, I had to buy a new Xbox, and I really wish I had the time to just go back and complete all of this again, because it was really that good to do. So there it is, guys. That is why Smackdown vs RAW is so amazing and ranks extremely high on my list of best WWE games. There might be more awesome stuff that I didn't even mention here, but that maybe you remember them. So if that is the case, drop it down in the comments below of some of the other amazing stuff that you remember from SvR 2008. This has been an episode of Game Round. If you want to see more of these, let me know for what game down in the comments below, and if you found it informative, climb up to the top rope and get ready to hit that insane elbow drop onto the like button. For more, make sure to have those notifications turned on and join us as we underway to 200,000 subscribers. I'll see you on the next one, so stay savage.